to left. In your opinion, what are the top challenges that Taos faces right now, and how will you address them if elected? 90 seconds, Ms. O'Donnell.
Thank you. My vision of a better Taos: good governance, infrastructure, economics, and community engagement. That's according to a White House paper on resilient communities, and those are the 4 pillars. Governance is good policy, transparency. Infrastructure is keeping our roads safe, improve our wastewater treatment plant, support the police, give them embedded community health workers, address the housing crisis. Economics, create a friendly business climate, listen to our businesses, support our Chamber of Commerce. Community engagement, listen to all segments, take their suggestions to heart. My personal passion, as many of you know, is to clean up Taos. We gotta pick up litter, people. We have to demolish buildings like the Plaza Theater. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Baroni, you will have 90 seconds.
You want to repeat the question just to make sure that I'm...
Of course, it's a separate question. First question. Okay. All right. What are the top challenges that Taos currently faces, and how will you address them if elected?
Thank you. So some of the top issues that we're having is what's happening in Washington right now. We have a number of cuts that are coming to us. Medicaid is gonna hurt us bad. We're concerned about our hospital. We have a mill levy that needs to be moved forward to make sure that our hospital stays a viable hospital. Without a hospital in our community, we don't have a community. Nobody would want to ski at our ski areas. Nobody would really want to live here if you're having to go an hour and a half to get medical care. So that's one of the biggest ones. Working with our state legislature to make sure that we continue. They did a really good job this last emergency session that they had. They set aside monies for food banks. They set aside monies for rural hospitals. Not quite enough, but we'll have to go after more money. But one of the great things that we have in our community, we're pretty self-sufficient here. We have the NCRTD, or the Blue Bus. They have free rides for medical attention, and that won't go away. We have Kit Carson Electric, who is working on a hydrogen plant, and we really need to support that, because that's money that could come to our community that we could use for affordable housing if we have the council and the mayor to be able to approve that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baroni. Ms. Cantu.
Oh, there's so many issues in Taos right at the moment, and yeah, the federal government is a real big worry for everybody. Right now, though, we need affordable housing, and that is the #1 issue here in Taos. We can't even invite doctors or nurses or anybody to come over here because we don't have housing for them. We're addressing it right at the moment. We do have things in the works. It's a collaboration between the town and the county that we're gonna have to work with. We're gonna keep having to seek funding. It's funding, pretty much for everything that is in government. Addressing our youth, which I'm so glad True Kids 1 is here now, because they've been addressing the big issue of suicides at the bridge. It has to stop, and it needs to be addressed, and they're the squeaky wheel, and they need to keep getting greased, excuse the pun, but it's a big deal. I would like to also see, besides UNM, because not everybody's college material, they want vocational school, they want a choice. We need to have more choices here, and I would like to see a branch of CNM or Northern New Mexico come up here so that we can teach vocations, because there's going to be a big gap in electricians and carpenters and maintenance people. So many issues. I'm just so glad that I have the ability to get involved, and I'm hoping that people will support me. There's so many more issues.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. Ms. Vanbro, 90 seconds.
I think our top challenges are, and I'll speak a lot of this, is regionalizing items. Fire services, the town, like again I said, supplies 70% of the fire district in the county. We receive 25% of that county-wide tax. We need to go back to the table and renegotiate and work on that. We need our fair share. Our wastewater treatment plant, aging infrastructure, especially the treatment plant. We are putting millions of dollars into that facility right now, but it's gonna cost us another $11 million. We need to make it a true regional facility. These are infrastructure projects that need to be done to, for the whole community, Another one is recreation. We're putting millions of dollars into the Youth and Family Center, into Fred Baca Park. We've already done probably 1.3 million into Fred Baca Park. We still need more. We need to improve Kit Carson Park. We need to do some more work at the Youth and Family Center for our youth, for families, for seniors, for everybody in the community. I see a major challenge is our employers, our employees. We have a shortage of employees. I think everybody has a shortage of employees. We have done a pay plan and we've brought our pay up for those employees, but we need to retain them. We have a lot of retired employees that have a lot of knowledge, and that's one thing that I bring to the table, my knowledge and historic knowledge that I have as an employee. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro.
Mr. Baroni? Many of our youth are choosing to leave Taos due to housing challenges, limited job opportunities, and limited education opportunities. If elected, what is your plan to retain and bring back our youth to Taos? 90 seconds.
You know, and it's a great question because I have 10 grandkids, and that's what we want best. We want our kids to go out, get an education, move back. How can we do that? We need to find opportunities and work with those entities that we have in place today. We have a number of entities that are wanting to build houses. We have developers that are wanting to build houses for our community, and we need that. We need to uplift everybody in our community. Our businesses need to be uplifted. We need to find ways to create better jobs, better pay scale in our community. But the first thing is to get them here, because most of them move away and they can't come back because there's not a place for them to live. We need to make it vibrant. First of all, give them a place to live, and then make sure that we have the jobs to keep them here. There's, there's different organizations that are wanting to come into our town, but we have restrictions, that we need to look at our bylaws. We need to look at the way our land use is in place, and if we need to address those so that it opens up, so if a business wants to come in, we are able to adjust and have those opportunities for them to be here. Thank you.
Ms. Cantu?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Of course. Many of our youth are choosing to leave Taos due to limited housing, limited job opportunities, and limited education opportunities. If elected, what is your plan to retain and bring back our young people to Taos?
Well, I have 4 children myself, and none of them are living here, and none of them can be sustained here. If they did move back, there isn't a place for them to live. As I've said, it's collaboration, so we can get the affordable housing. We can get, actually it's probably workforce housing that we need here, and I would really like to see vocations pushed over here. We need vocations. We need to replace people who are retiring. There was a fellow who told me one time, Judy, I used to have a team, and now I'm lucky if I just have me and my son working. This was a plumber. We need to have the ability to teach and train kids, and this goes with the school board, the high school. There is a program through the workforce community, but the employers, they can get tax credits by hiring students, and it's a start. I mean, we have a lot of things we have to fix, and I'd really like to work on bringing the youth back and to retain them here.
Thank you. Ms. Fambro?
Thank you for that. Housing has been working on for 40 years, so that is going to be a continuous long-term solution. But to bring our youth back, we do need to build our economy. We need to bring things that they want here in Taos. I'm fortunate to have 3 out of my 5 children back in Taos, but they left and they've come back. They've left for 10 years and come back. Now I have a manager of a big store. I have an educator, and I have airplane mechanic. So we need to look at all of these different trades. Maybe college isn't in for them, but we also are family in Taos. You know, we have homes, and I've supported my children until they can get on their feet, and now they all rent. So they've found rent, but we need housing. And some of our young adults don't want to own a house. So we need to look at rentals also, not just housing for ownership, because really, I don't know anybody in this room, I couldn't afford a house in Taos. I have it because of a death of my father. So that's affordability is what's really the problem, not just affordable housing, it's affordability of these houses. So build the economy, do things that, bring things that our local people and others need in this community. And they will shop there if they want to be at a chain store, or if they want to be at a mom and pop, they'll decide that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. O'Donnell? 90 seconds.
Thank you, Jacob. Housing affects not only the youth, but everyone. So we have limited housing and limited job opportunities. So I've said before, the future's not bright if we can't get housing right. So I have a vision and clear pathway, and that's to create an Office of Housing at the town. That office would have a director who will focus on the very complex process of working with housing, tax credits. Housing New Mexico has additional funding sources. The director would recommend land to buy, recruit, and work with developers. And workforce housing has a formula. It's a developer builder project that sells for less than the market rate. So I really believe in one job at a time. And we have to have the youth get training in whatever their desired occupation or career is. UNM has great programs that will lead you into a professional career, whether hospital workers, doctors. We need more doctors. We need more in the healthcare industry. It's true, we're in a housing crisis, and we have to do a lot of things. We need the experts to solve this problem. We just can't do it alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. All right, next question, and this time we'll start with Ms. Cantu of 90 seconds. What's your assessment of the town's relationship with Taos County and other Enchanted Circle municipalities and local governments? And if elected, how will your administration improve those relations? And Ms. Fambro touched on this. I just want to add this in there. Would you move to regionalize water systems and wastewater systems in the Taos Valley?
It does make sense to regionalize. It's all about collaboration, and we're all Taoseños over here. And we have to work together, otherwise it's not going to work at all. There's no reason that we should be, having any problems with each other. We're working for the good of everybody, not only in the town, but in the county. Everybody's vested from Amalia and Costilla all the way down to Chamisal. And we have to. There's just not a choice. We have to collaborate. It's all about collaboration. We also have to collaborate with the school board. We have to collaborate with the hospital. We're all so intertwined with each other that we can't survive without each other. We have to support each other. There's a lot of nonprofits here in Taos who are going to be losing funding, or they're even being asked to return money back already. And we all have to lock arms, and we all have to work together. Otherwise, this is just going to go all downhill. And I believe that's what it's going to take, is the friendship and collaboration of everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. Ms. Fambro, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I have it down there. Thank you. We've been working closely as a council with the Taos County, with the detox, with the plaza. Even people say we're not working on the plaza together. We are working. We reallocated our $1 million for that grant to help improve the plaza. The brick, a business incubator where our old Forest Service building used to be, our Main Street program, our metropolitan redevelopment area, our destination stewardship plan, our fire services, even though that's one of my main topics. That's going to be the hard part, coming back to the table. But I bring that experience and knowledge of what we can do to make that better. So the Montanza, we have a LEAD program, social services. We've been working closely with the county in a lot of things. And yeah, not everything is perfect. Not everything is perfect, but it's going to take the right person to lead and get those things to a place that are good for the whole community, for everybody involved with all these services. So as your mayor, that's what I do. I will bring to the table, try managing 5 kids, and I think I can manage the county. If I can manage 5 kids, I can manage the county. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fambro. Ms. O'Donnell, what's your assessment of the relationship between Taos County and the town of Taos?
I think the town and county are getting along great. When I was a commissioner, I chaired the Intergovernmental Council for 3 years, and that had all the local entities. In fact, there's people in this audience who attended. I think maybe you attended a few. I know Councilman Fernandez did. This was a group of all the entities from around the Enchanted Circle, not just the town and county, but Cuesta, Angel Fire, Colfax, Red River, and they all showed up. We had a quorum all the time, and we just discussed what each of us was doing, which is the great way to start when you're communicating in general, not just with the town and county. So I know all the people at the county. I get along with them very well. I see no problem continuing the relationships I've built with them. And I don't know about this 25% fire excise tax. I was told the town gets about 800,000. Maybe that's not enough. I'm not sure. I would need more research to find out if that would be something we'd have to go back to the county to negotiate. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. Mr. Baroni.
Regionalization is the key way to get things done. We need to regionalize our water system. We have an Abeta settlement that's looming right now. I understand there might be a few problems with it, but we need to regionalize water systems. We need to regionalize our sewer system. Right now, we're at 1 million gallons capacity. That we're using of that capacity. We have a 2 million gallon cap. And in the middle of summer, we hit that 2 million gallon cap. So we really need to start thinking about regionalization and make those opportunities so we can go after that funding. And thank you, Candace, for recognizing during the time I was mayor, we formed the Enchanted Circle of Government. And I realized that there was issues like the hospital, education, workforce housing, recycling, fire, the economy, transportation, and it doesn't stop there. We talked about the animal shelter. We talked, and we need to work together because there's more opportunities about funding. And yes, we've worked with the town. The town has worked with the county. When they built Ochenta, they had their yard there. We traded them property out towards the airport so that they could build their new facility, and we used that property to build the Ochenta apartments there. So we work together. I think there's no reason to have 2 Christmas tree lightings. We should just have one. Why do we have 2? I think if we work together, we have that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baroni. And now I'm going to introduce Lucy Schreiber, another member of the TK1 Youth Council. She's going to ask you a question from the audience.
Hi, everybody. Is this working? Okay. Our first audience question is going to start with Ms. Marietta Fambro. What do you think should be done with the old bank building the town purchased? You have 90 seconds.
Currently, the council has decided to turn that building into a facility for the youth, which can include families and also seniors, but to do an RFP to provide those services. Either it be art, technology, any kind of services that the young adults, I'm not talking kids of 5 years of age, I'm saying 13 to 18 years of age. And that's what, right now, that's what we're looking at to use that building for. So to do an RFP to get some type of services in there for our youth. That's what I would use, and that's what is on our plan right now. Thank you.
All right, Ms. O'Donnell, it is your turn. What do you think should be done with the old bank building the town purchased?
Is that
Yes. Me? Yeah. 90 seconds.
all right? Well, I would sell it only under certain conditions, and those would include if we cannot find a consultant to manage the building, because the first step, hire a consultant who manages the building. The town's not in the business of managing these type of grand scale businesses. Second, they would then put out an RFP for youth. They do the scope of work, and it is supposed to be directed at youth. So then my concern is who's going to apply? What youth groups are going to be in that building? What youth groups are going to offer services to the youth? So it's really, at this point, the youth should get ready to respond to this RFP that won't happen till next year because they're redoing the bathrooms to make them ADA compliant. So the scenario would be if nobody responds, the youth don't respond, which I would hope you would, nobody responds, then we sell it. We can't, and we'll put it into housing. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Barone, you are up. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Nope,
All right.
thank you. Get rid of it. It's a $2.1 million building that we have have sat there for a number of years, not a number of years, number of months, almost a year now. And we need to put more money in it to bring it up to some sort of use. And I think that $2.1 million can be spent on our youth at the Youth and Family Center, at our Little League parks, at our parks in general. We do have a number of buildings within the community that aren't being used, that are in disrepair, that could be repaired and be used currently. There's no reason to be holding on to a $2.1 million building that really hasn't served a purpose to this date. Thank you.
And finally, Ms. Cantu, you're up. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I got that, thank you. Well, there's a couple of ways to answer this one. One of them is I'm thinking we could bring a branch of the Visitor Center because that's the only building right now in the plaza that represents the town of Taos. We also need new bathrooms as well. The bathrooms currently are in horrible condition, and the bathrooms in the bank would serve a purpose. The other thing is we could also bring a branch from the town hall. We need a building department where we can get the building permits and stop sending them to Santa Fe so that builders can, lower their prices, hopefully. The other thing that I'm thinking is knock it down. I would really love to see a multi-level parking garage around the town. And we already purchased it. If we could knock it down, we could build, we can only go 2 levels, but perhaps we could, get a rooftop parking as well. But I'd like to use that property for something useful since we already purchased it. And that's my other thought on the building, is to knock it down and build a multi-level parking garage. We need one.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. All right, let's get back to Taos News question. This one's focused on tourism. What is your assessment of the destination stewardship plan? And how will you handle tourism? This has been a subject of quite a bit of debate in the town government the last several years. And please give concrete examples of ways that you would grease the skids for more economic diversification. And I'll add one thing. Does Taos need a film office? Sorry, that would be Marietta, I believe, right? Yeah. 90 seconds.
Thank you. Destination stewardship plan. We spent a lot of money doing this plan. The county, the town, Main Street is working on it. There's, I think the plan can be revisited and revised because I think the community put it together with outside consultants and finding out that we should already be doing this, stewards of our land, making more available opportunities for locals, but do we really want what the plan originally said? Do we really want outsiders coming to watch us do the acequia cleaning? Maybe not. So maybe the plan isn't perfect, but we can go back and make sure that we all are in understanding of what we really need to do with it. If locals need, I think, opening more local businesses, maybe recreation businesses, so that we are an outdoor recreation area. So maybe those are the businesses that we work and be stewards of the land with those, and teach and educate the visitors that come to our town that they need to be responsible to our tourism and to our economy and to our culture. So I think that the plan has a lot to work on. Also, film office, I believe we do need a film office, but don't create the will. You know, go with Santa Fe. We've already identified that. We've already put money towards that Santa Fe film office to get something local here in Taos. I mean, that's important.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Ms. O'Donnell, would you like me to repeat the question?
No. So has Taos reached over tourism? That's the term they use in Spain when they just get bombarded with so many tourists who dwindle our water supply and dwindle our different infrastructure. I don't know. You'd have to answer that question. I do know, I would agree, Jeffrey, to a film office, but if we had to prioritize, I would want an office of housing. I think we have lots of events when you're talking about tourism, and no, let's be honest, I haven't read Destination Taos. It's probably just another long, boring study. But I think we need to support tourism that leans into our community assets like agriculture, eco-agriculture, encouraging a regional connectivity to tourism. We have lots of events we could bring back when you're talking about tourism that would benefit the locals economically, and that's Return of the Wolf Festival, Arts and Crafts Fair, and other special events. So those would be some of my ideas. When you talk about tourism, the state has, all right, I'll save that for later.
All right, Mr. Baroni, you're up. And just a reminder from our engineers to get a little closer to your microphone so the folks at home can hear you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Nope, no, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yes, a film office, again, would be great. We had a film office before. is taking them from us. And there's opportunities there. This is all about outdoor recreation. We need to protect our acequias in our community. And I believe Destination Taos, you know, we've been able to water the park, Kit Carson Park, with acequia water. So, my time's up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brony. Ms. Cantu?
We thrive on tourism, and this goes all the way back to 1915, when the Society of Artists came here. And then in 1916, we had Mabel Dodge Lujan and her group come over here, and most notably D.H. Lawrence and Georgia O'Keeffe. 1947, we had Millicent Rogers come over here. We are renowned all over the world. And I recall when I was on the council, we had the Wake Company, and we were doing charrettes, and we were doing tourism. And actually, at that time, I saw commercials in Denver or Washington, D.C., where they were advertising Taos. I'd see banners at the different airports in Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, where they actually had banners of Taos. And I've been looking at this destination stewardship, and I just feel like it's, you know, one more study, and it's done by people who weren't raised here. They didn't grow up here. We do need tourism. We thrive on tourism. We're just so grateful we have our #1 destination is Taos Pueblo, which I have an excellent relationship with people from Taos Pueblo. But we have to have tourism, and I think we could actually bring it in-house. There's some local incredible marketers that live in Taos, and that's what I would really like to do in the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. All right. Ms. O'Donnell, the current mayor and council appointed the Kit Carson Renaming Committee to identify a new name for the park. But it will fall to a new mayor and council to actually rename the park. How important is it to you? If it were up to you, what would the park be called?
Really now? I thought they were going to make a decision before the current mayor leaves. I think Genevieve has done an excellent job in having her meetings. No, I wouldn't rename it. I'd keep it Kit Carson Park. We can't forget our history, even though it's a terrible history. At a round table, we heard from an heir of the person who gave the land to the town, and he doesn't want it changed. We have, even if our history is traumatic, we have to remember it. Now, if we had, let's say we had the government of Taos Pueblo come and suggest a name at that point, then that's something that we should definitely consider, because that's originally their land. I mean, the whole Taos is the Pueblo's land. So I think they're gonna name it before everybody gets in office. We'll just have to see.
All right, thank you. Mr. Baroni?
Leave it Kit Carson. You know, Kit Carson Park is, you know, it's part of our history, part of our culture. You know, just like the old blinking light out there, everybody still knows us as the old blinking light. Kit Carson Park will always be Kit Carson Park, unless you weren't, you know, you haven't been around the community for that many years, but it'll always be Kit Carson Park. And I think we, you know, we need to stick by that. I met with a number of tribal officials, a lot of them that come to our business, and have had that conversation. We've sat on the porch and talked about it, and they're saying there's no reason to change it. We didn't ask for the change, so why are we trying to change it? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cantu?
Well, the last time I was on the council, I was on board with it at that point. It's not a high priority of mine at this point in time. I think it's a bigger issue than just the council and the mayor. I've been trying to make an appointment with the governor of Taos Pueblo, Mr. Concha. But they're so busy over there all the time, I haven't been able to make an appointment with them yet. But I've been hearing about the name change since, I remember it since high school, they wanted a veteran's name from Taos Pueblo. In fact, twice they wanted a veteran's name. And I've been asking my friends at the Pueblo, and they say, well, you can't change history. And it's always going to be Kit Carson Park. I mean, maybe 75 years from now with the youth, if they change the name, then they'll know it as something new. But at this point, it's a low priority of mine, and I wouldn't want to change the name.
Thank you. Ms. Fambro?
Thank you, Jacob. So supporting other fellow council members in their endeavors, I did approve the resolution to go forward. Genevieve has done a very good job in making her committee. We still need to bring it back as public comment with the committee's recommendations. At that point in time, we need to look and see what options they have. I mean, growing up, we used to just call it the park. I'm not saying that's the name I'm gonna give it. I'm just saying we just would say, let's go to the park. So Kit Carson Park is what it is now, and we'll wait and see. The schedule was supposed to do that. This council was supposed to make a decision, but it looks like it may be held up until the new council and mayor come in. So for me, it's Kit Carson Park right now. Don't feel like a name change is necessary, but the process is in the process, and the public still needs to have their input. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Fambro. I'm gonna start with you this time and go from left to right to mix things up a bit. What is the state of town leadership right now and the basic functionality of town government? And the mayor has the authority to appoint the police chief, the finance director, town manager, with the agreement of the council. Will you reevaluate who's in those positions, and would you appoint an in-house attorney?
Thank you for that. Yes, the town does need an in-house attorney. They also need contract attorney that specializes in certain things, like the abate the water rights, like different things that come up like that. So I would reevaluate. I know who are in all those positions. I think they're all doing a good job. We have new employees, a lot of retirees, and we're just getting the fill of all these employees that have been with us. If they've been there 1 or 2 years. The leadership right now, I'm with the management team, the leadership is great. With my council team, the leadership is great. I'm very supportive of them, they're very supportive of me. Day one, we can just keep working on, with the exception of a new mayor, Mayoretta. No, I'm just kidding. So I do feel that the people that we have in charge right now will more than likely stay if they don't retire.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Ms. Cantu.
It would be wonderful if we could get an in-house attorney, but I don't know that we could pay them what they get on the outside. That would be the issue. But it's always been my experience from when I was on the council, even before that. The town of Taos has had wonderful employees, loyal employees, knowledgeable employees, and there's been so many that have been there for so long, and they're close to retiring. There's possibly a few positions that I might consider replacing. I know that our police chief is going to be retiring in December, and so we're going to be needing a new police chief. So with a new administration, we would have a new police chief because there's so many issues we need to deal with. But as far as an in-house attorney, that would be sweet, but I don't know if that's realistic.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. Mr. Brony.
In the 16 years that I've served, either as mayor or commissioner, we've always had an in-house attorney. And I would promote that because it's not only the council and mayor that needs that, it's the police, it's the fire, it's every entity within the town that needs to be able to walk into the person's office and ask that question. Also, when I was mayor, we took away the opportunity for the mayor. The only people that he would appoint would be your town manager and your attorney. Those are the only two, because we couldn't get people to move up in the ranks because they were always afraid to get axed every time a new mayor would come in. So we took that off the table. I believe that's still the way it stands, that the only people that you would appoint would be your town manager and your town attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. Ms. O'Donnell, and if you could move a little closer to your microphone,
Could
please.
you repeat the question?
In your opinion, what is the state of town leadership right now and the basic functionality of Taos government? And if elected, would you reevaluate who is in the top leadership positions? And additionally, would you hire an in-house attorney? Would you move to engage an in-house attorney?
Thank you. From my understanding, the mayor, upon council's approval, recommends the town manager, who I would keep, and the police chief. And I would not change anything in the other departments. I do think we need to find a strong police chief. I would like to have serious conversations with the police chief to see if, in fact, he's retiring. And that is one of the most important appointments. So hopefully we could find it internally, or maybe someone with the county. And absolutely, I would support an in-house attorney, because currently both the county and town use the same law firm, Robles and Anaya. And they're a great law firm, but they're expensive. And if there's any conflict of interest, such as who owns the sidewalks in the plaza, are they going to be fair and do the research, or are they going to favor one government entity over the other? I don't know, but an in-house attorney is definitely needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. We now have our second audience question. We're going to continue moving left to right. Excuse me. We're going to continue moving left to right, starting with Ms. Judy Cantu. Do you support continuing the recent fees that have been placed on the usage of the Little League fields?
I'm going to add to that. And generally, would you reassess the fees that are charged for facilities that the town oversees?
I recently had an experience myself because I'm trying to apply for a mural to be put on my building. And it was a really lengthy and pricey process, especially when you have to send the return certified letters to within 300 feet of your property. Oh my God, that gets costly. I absolutely would like to reassess the fees for everything. I mean, these are our kids. They're our little leaguers. You know, I don't know that there needs to be a fee on that. We could make it up somewhere else. Events. I am so wanting events, especially cultural events. There's so many things that we've lost, and you know, so much GRTs we can bring in with special events. I absolutely would reassess the fees that are being charged.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. Mr. Brony?
We've never charged the Little League during my administration. Little League played on the field. If we quantify obesity, if we quantify keeping kids off the streets, if we quantify diabetes, that alone, the savings because of the exercise they're getting, they're part of a team. Just like our community, we're all part of a team here. And sometimes somebody will catch the fly and there'll be an out. Sometimes somebody will hit a home run. And we're all part of that team. And we want to make sure that our kids feel that they are part of a team. It's part of life. And we don't need to be charging. There's mothers, single mothers in our community that have 3 kids. And if they're paying $200, you know, that's a piece. You know, that's sometimes 2 weeks' salary. We need to get over that. We need to support our kids in our community. And we need to support our families in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brony. Ms. O'Donnell?
Thank you, Ms. Schreiber. I don't know enough about it, okay? All I know, when I was at the county, we had issues with the anti-donation clause. The rates at the now soon-to-be Eco Park were very, very low. And then the people who run the baseball would make a lot of money. So I could say yes, no fees, but if legal comes back and says you've got to have fair market value rental on those fees, I really don't know. But I'd like to know what the organizers of the Little Leaguers charge. And that's important for me to really answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. Ms. Marietta Frembrook?
Thank you, Lucy. So the rollout of this fee charge was not rolled out good. I would go back and revisit it. It is an anti-donation clause that has been on the state books for years, which needs to be changed. I know the state legislature tried to do it this year, and they barely got not very far. The town is working currently, Melissa Vigil, currently working on user agreements that we used to do in the past. So in lieu of the fees, in-kind services, because the Little League provides a lot of volunteer services, but they also do collect. So also looking at some of those fees that we can do for indigent, for people that can't afford it. So that could be part of the in-kind services. So there is things to look back at this and revisit it and not treat it as a business, but as a community service that we have to do for these children of our community, and not to break any laws either, because I heard somebody says, well, we used to do it all the time and never got caught. So when we get caught, then we'll figure out what to do it. So Marietta, being the finance person and compliance, she'll look both ways. She'll find a way to fix it, to do it right. So that's what I have to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Now we're going to move on to our lightning debate round. This is something new for us all here, and the TK1 Youth Council, using their proprietary randomizer software, chose the pairings of the candidates at random. And again, a question is going to be addressed. There will be pairs of candidates. First candidate will have a minute to respond. Second candidate will have a 30-second rebuttal, and the first candidate will have a 30-second rebuttal. And at the conclusion of this round, all candidates will have a minute to address any topic or topics of their choice that they didn't get to comment on. So we'll start. Let's see. Looks like Ms. Fambro and Ms. Cantu. And Ms. Fambro, you'll get the response, you'll have a rebuttal, Ms. Cantu, and then you'll have a second rebuttal, Ms. Fambro. And the topic is parking kiosks. Probably besides Kit Carson Park, this has been one of the hottest issues the council and town government has dealt with. If elected, what's the best thing to do with the parking kiosks?
Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, so yes, again, we rolled this out a little crazy at the beginning. I specified in the last forum, parking is not free. It's not that I said no parking, no free parking, because you have to consider the revenue that you will get, $300,000 possibly, and expenses, $100,000, more than that, maybe 100. So we're looking at $400,000. So we can't do that as a government entity, just give away and free parking. We do have free parking already on some of the side streets. The parking lots are the ones that kiosks. For me, the kiosks are staying. There is some looking at things though, switching out maybe the first hour instead of the cost it is bring it back to maybe a lower cost. But also the merchants have to respect that they can't park there. If they're the ones that are complaining that they don't have room there and they're parking there, well, that needs to be addressed too. So I will not take away the kiosk, but do things better.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Ms. Cantu, rebuttal, 30 seconds.
There's a lot of little gems on Kit Carson Road, Bent Street, the park, TCA that have free parking. I think those are wonderful for us. The kiosks are, parking is a commodity. Really? And we need the fees. There's maintenance, there's leases, there's things we have to take care of.
Ms. Fambro.
Just to reiterate, I think we're both on the same page on this one.
Come on, guys.
Sorry, they chose us, so that's good. It's, it's not a business deal, but it is a business deal. I cannot go to the community and say I'm giving things away for $500,000 and where that money could be used somewhere else.
All right, thank you. Jake.
Next up, Mr. Barone and Ms. O'Donnell. I'm sorry. Ms. O'Donnell, how do you plan to define and improve town-pueblo relations?
By meeting with them, by listening to them. One of the sticklers has been the Gorge Bridge and the suicides, and the Pueblo owns the east side. They actually claim halfway across the bridge. And I think we need to work with the Pueblo to get those rails raised, see what else we can do at the state level. I have worked with previous governors of the Pueblo, have gone to their events when I was a commissioner, and I think I would be a good person to listen to them and see what they want. But I think the bridge is a starting place to work with relations with the Pueblo.
Thank you. And just before we move on, I'd like to remind anybody in the audience to please silence your phones. And Mr. Barone, a 30-second rebuttal.
And this is a hard one to debate because we want to be good partners with the Pueblo. They're a sovereign nation, and we need to work with them. We need to have those interconnections with them. We need to have, we just recently approved, at the end of my term, was a interconnection for sewer. And they're getting ready to build a big facility out there, and they need water and they need sewer, and we need to work with them, period.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. And Ms. O'Donnell, a 30-second counterclaim.
Come on, Dan. We've got other issues to solve. We need to save lives at the bridge. Good, they got their Pueblo vault for sewer. But we have more important topics to discuss with the Pueblo.
All right, thank you, candidates. The next pairing here looks like Ms. Cantu and Ms. O'Donnell. I think I'm going to go with an audience question here, actually. And that is, when can we get a central recycling yard in Taos? Ms. Cantu, you get the first minute for a response.
I have an appointment with Lawrence Gutierrez with the county this week. It's a collaboration, and we can't be sending everything to the landfill. One of the things I'd love is a cardboard recycling plant here in Taos. That would be so awesome. But recycling is another collaboration, just like the animal shelter, that we have to work together on doing things together. We're all working for the good of the community, and that's the way it's got to be.
Ms. O'Donnell, 30 seconds rebuttal. What will you do differently?
Ms. Cantu, the town has the $8 million to build the recycling center out by the airport. I do agree we need a local facility to drop off, but as you know, the town has, the old recycling center is turning into a septic sewage disposal area. So the other alternative would be to have a central facility right next to the sewage disposal for the septic people, where the road yard is, where the tons of crushed glass are. get rid of all those vehicles in the road yard.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. 30 seconds, second rebuttal, Ms. Cantu.
We absolutely need a recycling center. Everybody in Taos County was bringing their recycling to the town, and it was too small of a facility. And we do need a collaboration between both of us. As I've said, we're vested in each other, and recycling is something that everybody's doing, driving it to Santa Fe, driving it to Albuquerque. We need a recycling center here that we can collaborate with.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu.
And for our fifth pair of candidates, Ms. Cantu and Mr. Baroni. Sorry. Okay. Should the town, oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, this is for Mr. Baroni and Ms. Fambro. If elected, what will you do to ensure Taos has an effective animal control response and a functional animal shelter? Please provide examples and be as specific as possible. Mr. Baroni, you'll go first.
First of all, we need to go back with the animal shelter that we had and figure out why is it not working, and making sure that it has an opportunity for the town, the county, to contribute revenue to it, to bring it back up to some level so that we can continue to move forward in that aspect. There is other animal shelters or animal advocates in our community that are waiting in the wings to step in the event that can't happen. But it's so important that our animals have a place. Spayed and neutered is important, and we need to make sure that we have that opportunity. I know that there was some findings, and I think that's why the town cut funding, but we need to make sure that there is something in place.
Thank you, Mr. Baroni. Ms. Fambro, 30 seconds.
Thank you. We currently have a $60,000 spay and neuter program with Spay Taos. We currently have an RFP out for somebody to do shelter services, not necessarily Stray Hearts. Stray Hearts is a nonprofit. They've been there for 30 years. It's been in and out, run by different people. We need to get collaboration, regionalization with Taos County, Town of Taos, Taos Pueblo, and get either a facility, buy that facility jointly, and let somebody run it, whoever's the best qualified. Animal people, not me.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro.
Thank you.
Mr. Baroni, 30 seconds.
How come we don't have it now? It's been shut down for a number of years, and there's an opportunity to move it forward. Why is it taking this long to get it done?
All right, thank you, Mr. Baroni. Ms. Fambro.
Nice.
Next pair is Ms. Cantu and Mr. Baroni. If elected, what would you do to move the needle on the town's affordability crisis, including housing? Be specific. Sorry, that's Ms. Cantu. You are first. You have a minute to respond. What will you do to move the needle on the town's affordability crisis, including housing?
Well, I've made friends with senators, representatives, the governor. I would be seeking funding. Right now, there is a plan for 80 houses to be built. Right now, we're just at the very beginning of that, over behind the Youth and Family Center. I would like to invite entrepreneurs, contractors to come and use those low income tax credits so that they can build as they have in the past. It's very important. We need housing here. We need affordable. Pretty much anything we can get right now, because there's no housing, at all. There's people who, they don't even accept Section 8 housing. And it's crucial to keep people's families together. They don't have to travel from Espanola or Albuquerque because they're seeking housing somewhere else because we don't have it here. We need to seek funding. We need to get contractors who want to build.
Mr. Baroni, what will you do to move the needle on the affordability crisis, including housing? 30 seconds, rebuttal.
And housing isn't our only issue. It's our level of starting pay in our community. And if we get everybody's boat to rise, if we really work with our businesses in the community, and we can get more, and they can get a I guess we can attract more people to our community to shop in their stores, eat in the restaurants, and stay in our hotels. I think then everybody has a little additional money to go around to be able to pay their employees more.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. Ms. Cantu, 30 seconds, second rebuttal.
Our young people are getting priced out. They can't afford a house. They're seeking other places. We want to keep them here. Houses are crucial. Apartments are crucial. And what's more, we need good inspectors so when they're built, we don't have problems like leaky pipes that come from the roof in the wintertime. So everybody ends up having to move out, you know. We just have to do something about affordable housing. There's just no questions about it.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu.
And for our final candidates, Ms. O'Donnell and Ms. Fambro, what will you do to improve the town's response to property crime, violent crime, drugs and overdoses, mental health calls and complaints regarding the unhoused? What specific areas of public safety will you seek to improve and why? Ms. Fambro, you have a minute.
Currently, I'm on the lead board. It's law enforcement diversion program. We need to educate the community about the homeless, about the mental illness. We have very many providers in this community. We need a centralized provider like what used to be Tri-County. There's a lot of nonprofit good providers, but we need a centralized location. We also need the community to understand what mental illness does, where the drugs come from, give the police the tools that they need. They're working good on it, but they need more training. Training is important to understand the needs of these individuals. So going forward, continue working on those things in the future to help the situation with the drugs, alcohol, everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Ms. O'Donnell, 30 seconds.
We don't need a centralized location for all the nonprofits. They have their own space. What we do need is to work with the police on all these drug overdoses and have behavioral health workers embed social workers in with the police. We're just heartbroken by all the drug overdoses, and we have to do something about that. And once we do that, I think it'll help the crime rate go down.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. Ms. Fambro, 30 seconds.
Just to add on to that, if we had just a simple crisis unit that had a behavioral health person, a medical person on site, so that the police don't have to keep responding to this because they're not the ones that know how to deal with it. So if we could just identify some kind of small crisis unit to work with these individuals and help out our police officers.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Ms. O'Donnell. Now, each of you can take a minute to address any of those topics that you've written down on your handy-dandy notepads provided at the beginning of the forum. And let's start with Ms. Cantu, and we'll go to the right.
One of the big issues I'm really, really concerned with is the mental state of our youth. There's just been so many crises all over the United States. Bullying is a big issue, and I'm just really grateful that we don't need to reinvent the wheel because there's facilities here in Taos who really do care. We have team builders. They're wonderful. I have several people that I know who have been using team builders. We have the Taos County DWI program. We have the Taos Pueblo uses the 988 number for people in crisis. Recently they were, all of these groups were at the Paseo, and it was just so wonderful to see so many people collaborating and so many things that are available in our community for people who are having mental health crisis.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. Mr. Barone, 1 minute.
You know, there's a lot of issues within our community that we really need to address. And how do we get there? It's by building unity within our community. If we build unity, we can make it happen together. And I think that's the biggest opposition that we have, is we have, you know, a kind of a fractured community. You know, if we're gonna address all these problems that we have within our community, the animal shelter, You know, the animal shelter, the hospital, the education, the workforce, housing, the recycling, the fire, the economy, the transportation. We need to work together. It's a lot to accomplish in a 4-year period, but we can do it if council and the community work together, because we gotta go find those grants. You know, we have to find those grants. We have to find those non-payback loans and bring them to our community.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. Ms. O'Donnell, any topic you would like to address? You have 1 minute.
Well, I'll always go back to the housing crisis, because that's the key for everything. In fact, if you build more houses, you lower the market rate, average price of a house goes down. If you can saturate the market and have more houses, that's a supply and demand issue. Along those lines, we need to fast-track building permits. It shouldn't take 14 months for someone to get a permit to put a home on their property or modular home. I hear more complaints about that when I'm campaigning. We must redo the land use development code quickly, or create an emergency clause that includes accessory dwelling units, higher density, and faster permitting. And we just can't wait decades. And also, I would support renovating fire station number 2 for extra housing for firefighters when they're on duty.
Thank you, Ms. O'Donnell. Ms. Fambro.
There's a lot of things that the town is already doing, but one thing is addressing the housing again, and it's not affordable housing, it's affordability of a house to get into. I could not afford a house right now. Probably nobody in this room. And if you can, it's going to be $500,000 or more. So maybe looking at a luxury tax on some of these homes. If you can buy a house in Taos for $1 million, you can afford a luxury tax. Looking at unity, I think the town is Taos, and our council is working close with the county. We have discrepancies, but we are working. I don't think this community is divided. I think we have so many providers and people with thoughts, and just bringing them back to the table. I can bring that to being a leader, being the mayor. We're working on our LUDC, Land Use Development Code. We're just in the initial phases of working that. Change those laws so some of these affordable, I'm going back, housing units can be built better, or a different size, maybe tiny homes in areas. It's different things that we can look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. We're getting close to the end of this forum. There's one question I'm going to ask each candidate here. You'll have 30 seconds to expound on this if you like, or you can simply answer yes or no. And we'll start with Mr. Barone and go to the right. If elected, will you participate in the annual Olympia on the 2 acequias that the town of Taos is a parciante on?
You bet. And it's a great opportunity, and I have before, and I'll continue to do that. I think me and Councillor Hahn at the time brought water to the park and brought water all the way to behind the town hall. So yes, I will.
All right, thank you, Mr. Barone. Ms. O'Donnell.
Absolutely. I helped clean the canyon ditches several years. As long as the Mayoral doesn't work me too hard.
Ms. Fambro.
Of course, I've been on the ditches, acequia madre, digging, throwing stuff out, huffing and puffing, Vigili Romo, with Councilmember Fernandez and the trust people, and Councilmember Hahn. You gotta love him. He's gotta be Citizen of the Year for these acequia work and weed control that he's been doing. So yes, and yes, and yes.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro. Ms. Cantu.
I love hard work, and I've done that for many, many years, and I've been a supporter of the acequia systems, but at this point in time, I have very serious knee injuries, and I really wouldn't be able to participate at this time, but I'd be supportive in any way that I could.
Thank you, Ms. Cantu. We're going to move to closing statements. Jake, take it. We're going to start with Ms. Cantu, I believe, right?
All right. Ms. Cantu, whenever you're ready.
You have 1 minute.
1 minute? Well, I love my community. You know, I've been involved for over 20 years. I've met so many wonderful people. I've been supportive of so many things that people have tried. I didn't have to throw my hat in the ring at all. But I saw the condition of the community, and I just couldn't sit on my hands, like I said earlier. And I love my community. There isn't anything I wouldn't do to try to make it and improve it and make changes that we need here. I'm not afraid of being in office. I think it would be a privilege to work for the community of Taos and you people in the audience and beyond.
All right, next up, closing statements. Let's see here. Mr. Baroni, 1 minute.
Thank you. You know, we live in a beautiful place. I have 10 grandkids, and I just want the best for them, not only for them, but all the kids in our community. For each one of you in this room, we just want a better community, a place that we're proud of, a place that when we have visitors here. I had a father-in-law, and around Christmas time, no matter who you were, he would honor you. He would make you feel like you were the best person in the whole world. And that's what we need to do to each other, is uplift each other, make sure that we make each other feel like we're the best in the whole world. So I just want to say there's opportunities in this community to really come together and make things happen and make a better community. I'm number 1 on the ballot, and I'm Dan Baroni, your next mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Baroni. And Ms. O'Donnell, you have a 1-minute closing statement.
Well, in closing, I hope I have persuaded you tonight to cast your ballot for me. And I think I have met the moment. I would be honored and humbled to be your mayor. Together, we can create a resilient Taos, fix the housing crisis, give more money to nonprofits to help the mentally challenged and the unhoused, embed some of those with the police, rewrite our codes for land use and do faster permitting, and give the money to our firefighters for that ambulance that needs to be equipped and has been setting for 5 years. So let's get to know each other at my meet and greet on Friday night at Tomorrow and Tomorrow from 5 to 9. I'll be serving pizza, and that's Friday, October 17th from 5 to 9. Everyone's invited, and thank you, Taos, and have a great evening.
Ms. Fambro, you have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Thank you for all being here. Thank you for these candidates. It's a thankless job, but this is a job interview, and I've been in the town government for 25 years. I will continue with that experience and showing up. I show up, I'll be here. I will do the best that I can. I don't make any promises, but I will collaborate with the partners, the county, the pueblo, the schools, the hospital, whoever it may be. I think we're all in here to make Taos better. I feel Taos is great. It can only get better. I live here for a reason. I say I'm gonna die here, and God willing, I die here in this community. Like I said, I've raised 5 children in this community. I just want the best for all of us, and I would appreciate your vote. I'll be running the mayor's office first day. I already know where it is. It's located at Town Hall. And I'm gonna put plants in there too, so. But I'm ready to hit the ground running. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fambro, and thank you to all our candidates. That concludes tonight's forum. And I want to remind our viewers at home and also the audience here that next Monday, October 20th, 5:30 in the Kit Carson Electric Co-op Board Room, we'll be having a forum with the town council candidates, the Town of Taos Town Council candidates. I'm Jeffrey Plant, editor of the Taos News.
And I'm Jacob Flores on behalf of the TK1 Youth Council. Thanks for coming out tonight.
We wish you all a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.